As Mr. Darcy searches the streets of London to try and discover the whereabouts of Lydia and Wickham, he locates the house where Mrs. Younge is to be found. This scene might be how it plays out. The street was narrow and damp from the day's rain, its cobbles catching the uneven flicker of gas lights above. Though night had fallen, the city still stirred. Children darted between wagons, voices rang out from shadowed corners, and a cart creaked by with the vendor's cry muffled in the air. Darcy stood beneath the edge of a crumbling awning, his coat drawn close, the brim of his hat shadowing his face. Before him stood a girl, thin and sharp-eyed. She regarded him with a mixture of caution and curiosity. "I seek a woman," he said. "A Mrs. Younge. Do you know her?" The girl nodded quickly, glancing behind her. "The lady lives in a house up that alley," she said as she pointed down a narrow break between buildings. Darcy reached into his coat and retrieved a silver coin, and he then pressed it into her hand. Her eyes lit, and she darted away at once, calling out to her friends. Darcy turned without pause and followed the direction she had given him. The alley was tight and dark, and the air tinged with coal smoke and wet stone, and at its end stood a plain door, unmarked. He raised his cane and rapped it twice, firm and deliberate. There was movement from within, footsteps, a quick exchange of voices. The door creaked open. A maid appeared, no older than 16, her hair pinned hastily and her expression uncertain. Her gaze caught the gentleman at once, and she stepped back as though stung. Behind her came another figure, older, pale, and momentarily frozen. Mrs. Younge. Her mouth parted in shock, her hands clutched at the folds of her dress, knuckles white with tension. "Mr. Darcy," she said, barely above a whisper. He did not remove his hat as he stepped through the doorway. "I believe we have unfinished business," he said. Mrs. Younge stepped back to admit him, her movements stiff, her composure brittle. The maid disappeared at once, as if by prior instruction or simple instinct, and the door was closed quietly behind them. The room was modest, poorly lit, and close with the smell of stale coals. A shawl lay folded on a chair by the hearth, though the fire had long since gone out. Darcy remained standing. She made a show of smoothing her skirts, though her hands trembled faintly. "I assume this is not a social call," she said. "I do not often call upon those who betray my family," he replied, without heat but with precision. Mrs. Younge flinched. "That matter, Ramsgate, it is past." "Not for me," said Darcy, "and not for the girl you helped deceive." There was silence. Then slowly she crossed to the chair, but did not sit. "I was foolish," she said. "Foolish to believe him, to think he would honour any promise once it no longer served him. He flatters so easily, you see, and he speaks of things, money, opportunity, as though they were plucked from the air." Darcy watched her carefully, but said nothing. "I thought, at first, that it was only mischief, that no true harm would come of it, but he meant to ruin her." She looked at him then, and something changed in her voice, less defence, more confession. "He used me, Mr. Darcy. I did not see it clearly until it was too late, and by then he had a hold of me as well." Darcy's tone softened slightly, though his gaze remained firm. Wickham's gift lies in making others feel they have no choice but to aid him. Mrs. Younge swallowed hard. "You do not know what he can be like. You have not seen his face when he is crossed." "Oh, I have," Darcy said quietly. "Too many times." She turned away from him for a moment, silent, and then, perhaps realizing that the moment for concealment had passed, she gave him the address. It was spoken plainly, without flourish or defence. "It is here, in London, not 2 streets from this one, but he comes and goes by night. There are debts and other things," she hesitated. "He believes Lydia will bring him some respectability. She is young and thinks it love." Darcy said nothing for a long moment. Then, "One cannot always choose the man one falls in with," he said. "But one may choose in time to stop falling." Mrs. Younge turned to face him. Her expression had shifted. Not merely guilt now, but something nearer to recognition. "Is that what it is, Mr. Darcy? Your attempt to stop the fall?" "It is not myself I am saving." A faint, unsteady breath escaped her lips. He moved toward the door, adjusting his gloves as he reached it. His hand was on the latch when she spoke again. "And what becomes of me?" Darcy paused. "That," he said, "depends on whether you close the door behind me and begin again, or keep it open for him." He did not wait for a reply. The door closed with a soft click, and the sounds of the city rose to meet him once more. He did not know what would become of Mrs. Younge, whether she would seize the freedom she had been handed, or return to the shadows that had shaped her. But of Wickham he would soon know everything, and this time the outcome would not be left to chance.